And welcome to the Bundesliga show. We are tuning in tonight for the Friday evening match of match day 12. We're doing our first watch along in what seems like an absolute age, and we're here to watch FC Köln take on German champions FC Bayern Munich. And yeah, we're just a few minutes away from kickoff, so really looking forward to this one. The lineups are on screen, so we'll come to that in a moment. And good evening to you, Mark. How are you doing? Looking forward to this one?
Yeah, not bad at all. Just getting pretty cold over here in Germany now. But yeah, I think we're going to be in for a decent game as well. I mean, I would imagine it's pretty cold over there in Cologne as well. But, the Cologne fans are going to be up for this one, buying it. It's a game, they can't really win in this game because, they're expected to win easy. This is a hard one for them because, it's a Friday night fixture under the lights. The Cologne fans will be up for it and everyone expects a big Bayern win. So, I mean, there's not that much they can win from, really, whereas Cologne have got nothing to lose. So let's just hope, they at least make it competitive. Obviously, we were talking before we went on air, Rory, that we did this game, I think, in January as well, way back in January. And Cologne played really, really well that night and were unlucky not to win the game. I remember that Joshua Kimmich screamer in the 90th minute that came out of the blue, really. But, Cologne managed, they were probably the better side and, they got a well-earned point in that match and they'll be hoping for a repeat performance tonight.
Yeah, there will be. So, before we get started, if you have any thoughts, share them with us. Don't be shy. Myself and Mark will do them in a second. Then I'll share the results of what our poll tells us is what's going to happen. So, pop your predictions in the chat live for us if you have any, and I'll start off. And Mark, you did yours last night, so if you want any predictions, check out the show that's already on the channel, which we did last night. Predictions of the weekend. Mark, you went for 4-0. So yeah, hard to disagree with that. Having seen the team lineups, has that made me change my mind anymore? Regrettably not. I'm going to go for a 3-1, I think. It'd be nice for Köln to get out and start fast, make them, a little bit more nervous. But that's their only avenue into this game. If Bayern go ahead early doors, then it's going to be a long old evening for the home side. That's my thoughts. Mark, anything extra on your side now that you've seen the team lineups? Are you sticking to 4-0? Are you going bigger?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely just cause to go bigger. Obviously, Choupo-Moting starting alongside Harry Kane, and then obviously Sané and Coman all starting. So it looks like a very, very strong Bayern Munich attack. Obviously Konrad Laimer starting at fullback this game. I think he did really, really well during that period in midfield, to be honest. I'm a little bit surprised to see him drop back out to fullback because, the Kimmich-Goretzka partnership has been maligned in recent seasons. It's not been as good as what it was in the early days. And, I think Laimer has been superb, especially in the game against Dortmund, when he played that holding role. A little bit surprised to see him shifted back into an unfamiliar position of right back, but it still looks like a really, really strong team. It really does, and I think, it's going to be a real hard evening for the Cologne team. Anyone in Cologne's team, Rory, that you think maybe could, give them a bit of hope? Or
well, I think we both like Jan Tielemans, don't we, as a player? An exciting player when he's on top form and has youth on his side still, so he's still learning the game. Linton Mania, he can also have those moments. I think he played a really good game actually last time when we did this watch along, didn't he? Really energetic, great pace as well. So definitely things for Bayern to think about, and especially down the wings as well. Because if we're talking about the lineups, just as we're seeing Stefan Baumgart come out in a t-shirt, of course. Why wouldn't he be in 4 degrees, which it is, I think, in Köln at the moment. Just before the game kicks off, I think with no Fonzie Davis on the pitch, pace is a very interesting thing down those wings. I'm sure Mazraoui is no slouch, but still, I think that's definitely an area that they'd be able to think and target. So it'd be interesting to see how the game goes on in that sense. Good to see Martel back in midfield as well, rather than the right back. Position that he's held on occasions this season. So that will be an important axis for Köln to get stability and make lots of tackles and having to regain the ball a lot. So yeah, I mean, they're the kind of main headlines that stick out for me at the moment. Obviously, if anyone has any other thoughts, please do let us know what you think. Who's going to have the biggest impact on this game? I'm guessing you're not expecting too much from your pal Davy Selke tonight.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's been much maligned on this show at times, but he does put in a shift. You can't deny that. He puts himself about up front, but for such a big guy, I think he's 6'5" or something. He's actually quite decent with the ball at feet, but he just doesn't get the goals. That's the problem. He's clearly in the team for like hold up play, but I just don't think he's got the goals in him. As an out-and-out number 9, that's the problem. In the Bundesliga, you've got to score goals. It's just the Bundesliga is a league of goals, as they say. And I just think basically Davy Selke just doesn't have the goals in him. He's got 3 so far this season. I think he got 5 or 6 last year in the whole season. The numbers just don't add up. Basically, that's the problem with him. But we are underway. I don't know about you, Rory, but I'm about a minute and 20 seconds into the game. And so far, yeah, as expected, nothing happened. But actually, there's just been a mistake at the back already for Cologne there. Oh, dear. But a mislaid pass there. It's just about won back by Sane. But yeah, that was already a bit of a shaky start. I think it was Chabot who ends up losing the ball. But in the end, Kimmich gives the ball back to Cologne anyway. But yeah, it seems though a very high press. The ball really well won back there by Upamecano, and Bayern Munich are on the attack. Whereabouts are you in the game, Rory? I'm on around about 2 minutes as we speak now.
Yeah, I think I'll be about 40 odd seconds behind you tonight. So naturally, yeah, we'll refer to you for all the goal mouth action and exciting moments. And I'll just pick up what bits I see tactically, I guess, as we go along and react to that. Naturally, you're often ahead of me when we do the Bundesliga games. I'm usually more similar when we do the European matches. But I mean, both teams look energized at the very least. Straight from kickoff, there was a good press by Köln on obviously Manny Neuer returning on his goal kick, and obviously Bayern are pressing extremely energetically as well. So yeah, Mark, I mean, you'll be able to lead us through this, but really exciting to have the Bundesliga back in general, and we can just sit back and relax and like everyone else. So please do make sure as well that you smash a thumbs up on the video if you can do. That'd be fantastic. We haven't had any live chat yet, so please feel free to jump in, whether you have an opinion on this game or if you have a general question for me and Mark about this weekend coming or anything else Bundesliga. Please do so, and we'll come to it during the match. And press that red button to subscribe so you don't miss out on anything else. Looking forward to Monday's review show as well. We should have a new guest, which would be great. So loads of good things coming. So please do make sure that you jump on and say hello. And if you're watching on X, come over to YouTube and say hi as well. It will really help us out algorithm-wise, you wouldn't believe. So yeah, Mark, almost maybe 4 minutes in probably for you by now. Anything that you've particularly noticed, or just the team just trying to get into the match on this cold evening in Cologne?
Yeah, I think both sides have made an energetic start. Cologne getting into a few real hard tackles. But I think probably the thing that stood out is, the high press from FC Bayern Munich. And, they've won the ball a couple of times on the halfway line, which is a bit of a concern for Cologne, because, they're going to have to... One of the hardest things for a lesser team to do when they play the big boys is to get enough of the ball, to kind of give them some respite. Just as Lima comes down here, it's already held up. The first chance, and it's just wide. But it's Bayern Munich and it's Choupo-Moting who has the first chance of the game, and it was really good wing play from that man Konrad Laimer, and a really good hold-up play. Then he kind of swivels and turns it. It's not far wide, It's a really, really good piece of football from Choupo-Moting there to kind of work a chance out of nothing, really. But just about 5 minutes on the clock and the first big chance of the game, Rory.
Yeah, absolutely. Really good opportunity for Choupo-Moting to have a big impact on this match and try and get himself into the team for the next few weeks ahead of obviously this next spell of Bundesliga footy. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, Köln are working hard. That's something that we're always going to see from them. Their energy levels look good. They've obviously had the opportunity to rest up during the international break. Obviously, not too many of their players have been on international travels. And speaking of international travels, refer to maybe the complaints from a certain Mr. Thomas Tuchel about this game being on Friday night and his international superstars having to fly back in nice and quick to make the match. I mean, does he have a point, Mark, or is it just early kind of pressuring just to kind of get his excuses in, basically?
Yeah, just as we see a ball come in as well, and I think it's Carstensen who slices the ball against his own post there for Cologne. So yeah, Bayern's starting to get quite a lot of chances. They certainly don't look anyway as though they're being, at a disadvantage from this game. I mean, you've got to remember the positives are that they get a game ahead of Leverkusen as well. So basically they could go top tonight and put a lot of pressure on Leverkusen ahead of a difficult trip to Werder Bremen tomorrow. So, I think managers like to moan, especially Thomas Tuchel, let's be honest. He's not a stranger to a good old moan every now and again. And I just think, for me, it's, it is their second game on a Friday night after an international break. I can see a complaint to a certain extent, just as a one-on-one here for Cologne, for Bayern. And it's not been taken. Schwaber has made a massive save there. I think it was Sane who went in one-on-one. It looks like a terrible miss, really, that one. He had so much time, Sane, there. And it is good goalkeeping, but geez, it's a great ball, actually, I think, from Kimmich, who just completely takes away the whole Cologne defence. And it probably should be put into the back of the net from Sane there. It really should. But yeah, going back to your question, I think, managers nowadays, it's mind games, as Alex Ferguson would have said. I just think it's, managers want to get the better of referees, of the DFB and things, and they want to see things go in their favour, basically. And I think that's just part of the game nowadays. But what did you make of that chance, Rory?
Yeah, huge chance. He almost looks too relaxed, Sane. I guess maybe the bouncing ball he doesn't bring under his spell quickly enough. But Schwaber's out nice and quick. Sane, will be very disappointed. But the passing question is delightful. That's exactly what Kimmich wants to be doing. I think if Sane goes low, he scores easily. I don't know why he went high, because Schwaber's already on top of him by the time he's trying to do that. Chances are now starting to flow for the champions. Just as well. Köln actually, Selke gives away a free kick after a bit of pressure there. We'll see. Samuel said 5-2 Köln. I thought I was seeing 5-2 Bayern there. Well, there you go. Samuel says, get your mortgage on it. Have inside info. Well, there we go. We'll wait for that. We'll look forward to. I mean, if it is, we'll have a great watch along for sure. Really do hope it is 5-2. Thank you for tuning in, Samuel, and hope you're doing well. Also, Sarul, watching from you're Indonesian. Bayern wins. I'm not sure where you're watching from. If you're watching from Indonesia, fantastic. If not, still, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying the match and the coverage. There we go. 1-5-2 for Köln and a Bayern wins as well. Just as we're seeing, Köln still putting a few good challenges. We're closing in on 10 minutes here, Mark. And, well, I guess if Köln are doing it by small numbers...
chance! Jeez, Cologne. It looks as though he's been given offside, but it's a very big chance for Cologne from a miscleared corner there from Bayern. It comes in from Kynes. It's not really a good corner, but it ends up on, it's just offside there. But yeah, it would have been the first shot on target, which ended up being a good save by Neuer. But yeah, better from Cologne. If they can use that physical side of the game, that's probably how they're going to get most luck in this match. In the last 2-3 minutes, they've been a lot better since that chance from Sane. And again, they're here on the ball again now. Some good play around the middle, but Selke again doesn't quite manage to hold it up. Although some really nice interchange again there. Wow, yeah. Cologne turning it on the last 2-3 minutes. And Stefan Baumgart, wow, yeah, going absolutely crazy on the touchline. He'll be relatively happy with the first 10 minutes, despite obviously those 2 Bayern Munich chances. But who do you think will be happier, Rory? I mean, it's been quite an entertaining start to the game, really, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. Yeah, no, I mean, we've had 4 really good chances already. Well, I guess if you can call the slice cross a chance. Yeah, Köln will be absolutely thrilled to be 0-0 after 10 minutes. Like I said, they'll just be breaking the game down into small segments, getting through each one, trying to, put pressure on where they can. As you say, good build-up play that Köln are displaying in these early minutes as well. So yeah, they'll obviously be the happier. Baumgart as enthusiastic as ever. I don't think Tuchel will be too worried, of course. It's still so early on in the match, and we've got loads of this game to come. But yeah, no, definitely the home side will be happier. But yeah, absolutely. Thank you to everyone that's tuning in with us this evening. Hope everyone is doing well and just relaxing as the weather, starts to draw in the cold nights. But we get to enjoy a bit of Bundesliga Friday night action. So I hope you can all enjoy with us. If you can give us a thumbs up on the video as well, that would be excellent. And share with your friends and family. Get them all watching along with us. That would be absolutely fantastic. Florian Kainz just doing a little bit too much on the ball as Bayern get away. But yeah, the physicality is a really important part of Köln's game, Mark, and they've been right on it from a physical point of view at the very least. And Bayern realise that they're in a match tonight.
Yeah, just as Sané mislays another pass from well put place, it was really good interchange in the midfield. But I mean, Sané, who probably hasn't had the best start to the game, has mislaid a pass when he basically had Kane running through. If that pass had gone through Carstensen, it would have been it would have been 1-0 to the away side. But yeah, as you say, they've got to be physical. That's why they play Davy Selke up top. They play him up top so that he can, hold that ball up and bring other players, the likes of Florian Kainz and Thielmann, into the game. But I think my fear so far for Cologne is that they're getting picked off too easily in those midfield interchanges. I think that's twice now that Bayern Munich have been able to break away really easily, to be honest, through the midfield. They need Martel to be probably guarding Kimmich and making sure he can't play those ridiculously good passes from just about everywhere, including inside his own half. Now, that's the worry for them so far. They've looked quite good on the ball and they're causing the Bayern defence problems. But the issue is that defence is looking really ropey at the minute. And I just think Cologne know that the first goal is crucial in this game. I know it's a cliche in football, but if Bayern Munich score 1, then it could be a heavy scoreline tonight. And their goal is going to be to keep it to 1-0 as long as possible for me. Keep it to 0-0 and even 1-0, but they want to be in the game into the last 10 minutes. That's all you can hope for when you're a team like Cologne against Bayern Munich. But yeah, they've done well so far. They're round about through 15 minutes. And yeah, Rory, do you think anyone stood out for you so far?
Not stood out, no. But I think their football, generally speaking, is neat and tidy. From the back, they haven't been spooked by the Bayern press. They're doing what they want to do. So that's really important. But as you say, that I think the midfield, will absolutely determine the outcome of this match. We all know Bayern's quality going forward, so they'll take their opportunities eventually. Even though Sané has messed up maybe a couple of opportunities, and going forwards, Köln look like they've got the ability to cause issues and create a few chances. So it's how often the Köln defense get exposed, basically. But for the Sané cross and the Sané pass, I think that is it Hubers or Chabot who gets in the way of both? No, it wasn't Chabot. I think
Hubers it was actually. I thought it
yeah.
was Carstensen initially, but it was actually Hubers who did it.
But I mean, yeah, Hubers does well on both occasions. I know he slices it off his own post, but if he doesn't make contact, Kane's just behind him. It's a goal. Let's face it. So he has to take action there, and then he makes Sane make a decision for that pass. So he kind of does. He does both. He doesn't go too far back, and he doesn't predetermine it either. So, a massive block and it didn't go in, so it's a great clearance to keep it 0-0. Just as we've got Kim Min Jae having a very nasty fall after tussling with Davy Selke. Who else? So again, the physicality coming into play. On Friday evening in Köln. Yeah, that'll be a sore one for Kim on a probably quite hard surface as well. So I think we're just about back underway as well. No goals just yet, but bear with us. The Bundesliga always produces, and there have been plenty of chances already. Good chances for both teams as we're watching. Obviously, struggling Köln. If you looked at the league table, I think you'd take this as a pretty obvious walkover. And, we've been predicting it, but, plus 15 minutes of survival so far, Mark, they'll have to be really pleased with that.
Yeah, they will, without doubt. But just as Linton Minor got a really good cross in as well just before, but he ended up clashing into the hoardings behind the goal. It looks like there's a great atmosphere as well, as there almost always is in Cologne. A bank of ultras behind the goal that Bayern Munich is shooting into now. I know that Cologne have a lot of British fans as well. I think actually their anthem is it's basically German words to the Loch Lomond song. Do you know that one, Rory? I know you're part Scottish, right? So they basically put German words to the banks of Loch Lomond, which is really quite a cool thing, actually. Yeah. So I know they have a lot of Scottish and British fans because of that, I think, and I think quite a big British expat community as well in Cologne. So definitely, I think there's definitely a lot of British interest in this match. Just as Bayern come forward again through Mazraoui, really good play there by him, and Sane now. He's had a mixed afternoon, but he looks confident in general. He's had a really good season so far. As the cross comes in, it's actually a foul by Choupo-Moting, and it's buys a little bit more time for Cologne now. A foul on Carstensen. And, they're doing all right. They really are. I think the first 10 minutes, there were a couple of really good chances for FC Bayern. But since then, Cologne have grown into the game and they look a little bit more confident now. I think, the first thing you want to do is not concede an early goal in these kind of matches, isn't it? Because basically it can get really, really hard for a team out there. But Rory, I mean, do you think the kind of element of surprise could help Cologne in this game? Obviously everyone thinks it's going to be a walkover for Bayern, but do you think being such big underdogs could actually help them, perhaps?
There's obviously always the underdog element to it. I mean, they know how professional a team Bayern are and how they always get the job done. So, I don't think there'll be any assumptions that Bayern might be slightly off it. I mean, there's a chance, of course, that Bayern might be slightly sleepy from the international break just because of the fact that they had more players travelling, basically. But other than that, it's just going to be the fact that they have to, dig in deep, be physical, be relentless energy-wise all game long, see what basically comes from and out after that. Ball recovery stats. We can see that so far this season, Köln's ball recovery has been 15.6 seconds, but tonight it's 11.6. So against one of the obviously better teams.
One-on-one again. Sorry for Bayern. It's off the line, but it's in. It's a goal, 1-0 to Bayern Munich, and it's Harry Kane. Incredible. It's cleared off the line from, I think, Choupo, and he's basically got a tap in that he couldn't miss. Chabot looked like he made an amazing clearance off the line, but it's gone straight to Harry Kane, he is the ultimate poacher, and for all the good that he does, he knows how to be in the right position at the right time. and it is 1-0 to Bayern Munich. It's actually a really good interception by Lima again, who starts the move. And this is the problem so far. They're just picking through the central midfield of Cologne is just not coping at all. And it is Chupo who probably should score, but it's well cleared off the line by Chabot. And then the finish is applied by Captain Fantastic, England Captain Fantastic, Harry Kane. And it is 1-0 to the away side, Rory.
Yeah, I mean, the England captain knows how to sniff out goals. Choupo-Moting should absolutely score. But Harry Kane is just an absolute goal machine. He is loving life in the Bundesliga, no more so than this evening, getting his first goal since the international break, arrested international break for Harry, I guess. But yeah, nicely broken away from a Köln attack. Good pass in by Sane on this occasion, setting up Chupo as was it Florian Kainz's through ball that didn't go right, and it was Lima who started the move from right back. So in his new position, and yeah, like you say, cleared off the line really well. Good effort in the end by Chabot, but by Chabot, and Kane taps it in for 1-0. So 1-0 to the champions, 1-0 in Köln. Let's see how that impacts the rest of this game. Are Bayern going to go and control it? How will the home side
react? The through again, Bayern, and it's Sane through to Choupo-Moting has missed an absolute sitter, 1-on-1. It's a good save by Schweber, but I mean it's a ball through that midfield. The central midfield of Cologne is non-existent. It was onside. It would have counted. And Choupo-Moting is, he's got his doubters as well, but he's missed an absolute sitter there, complete sitter, like no one around him. And Schweber got a hand to it, and it almost still rolled through, but it just went wide. But yeah, this is a massive problem. These balls from Goretzka and Kimmich are just destroying Cologne completely. There's not the central midfield, Martel has just been non-existent at times, and that should have been 2-0. As a corner comes in, it's not out yet. The second ball falls to Kane, who recovers the ball, and they're gonna build again here from the back. But yeah, it's just that midfield, Rory. I mean, they just can't get anywhere. It's just taking one ball through the midfield, and they're just done, basically, Cologne. That's the problem.
Yeah, and naturally the problem is because the balls from midfield are actually coming from quite deep as well. And then Sane is just running onto these with so much space as well to pick out the right pass, which he will do on most occasions. And Chupo should absolutely score. He should have 2 goals in 20 minutes, basically, but he doesn't. It's still 1-0 for now. Kane with it. It's very much survival mode all of a sudden for the home side. They need to just settle down in the next 5 minutes, 10 minutes, take the sting out of the game, maybe get a chance on the counter. But what is really happening, Mark, is that they're getting caught on the counter themselves, which is not what you'd expect.
Yeah, that is true. They just won the ball really well at Cologne in the midfield, but it's just they're too slow. That's the problem. I think they do win the ball back and they fight hard. The likes of Kainz, Thielmann, but they don't have the speed and thought that Bayern Munich do. You can see that's the difference in this game, really, so far. Yeah. But it's been a really entertaining watch. This, it could quite easily be 2 or 3-1 to Bayern, to be honest, because there have been chances at both ends. But I mean, they've got to do something to shore up that midfield, because as you say, I think that's four or 5 passes in the first 20 minutes, basically 25 minutes that have gone straight through and have all led to chances. So it should be 2-0, as you say, because that was just if that had fallen to Harry Kane, that would have been absolutely 2-0, 100%. Yeah. I mean, Chupo but the thing is with Chupo, he puts himself about and he creates space for other players, and he's definitely, he's probably been the most active player in the match so far, along with Sane. So he does have his qualities as well, despite his finishing not being absolutely top drawer at times. But yeah, Bayern Munich again on the ball in midfield, and it's just looking, it's starting to look a little bit bleak at the minute for Cologne. There's so many players on form for this Bayern Munich team. I think one man that doesn't get the credit he deserves is Lima. I mean, I've always been a fan of him, way back from his time at Leipzig, and I just think he's a brilliant player. And what he's done at right back as well. I mean, it's just a totally unfamiliar position from him for at least the last 3 or 4 years since we've been covering the league. And, he just looks brilliant there, really. And in midfield, he's just a quality player. And I just think he's been one of the signings of the season so far. I don't know if you agree with me, Rory, but he's been like the unsung hero of this Bayern team so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, when you put it like that, he's probably up there. As you say, he has been more unsung for sure. Like, there have been other players or other signings that have been heralded more than Konrad Laimer. But yeah, it was a signing that made sense, and it's a signing that Bayern often do, isn't it? Taking the better players from their rivals, effectively, which we're used to by now. But yeah, alas, he's been playing really well, and ultimately he started the move for the first goal. Just picking up on a few comments in the chat as well. And Mark, please do jump in when a big chance occurs. Samuel's got an idea for us to have for some of our live videos. Some Rory's ravishing riddles, which sounds delightful. It sounds very similar, Samuel, to perhaps our anagrams that we used to do. Mark's mystery anagram, that was it. So maybe we'll have to bring back the anagrams at the very least for you, Samuel. And yeah, that might be good fun for everyone. Good evening to Ballum, checking in. Obviously enjoying the match as well with us. I hope you're doing well. Seems to think that Mark's been giving Harry Kane German lessons. I'm sure you'd be doing a much better job than whoever is teaching him currently. Ballum's picked up on something that maybe we'll talk about in a little while, about obviously the German national team playing a certain Kai Havertz at left back. So yeah, we can maybe chat about that a little bit later on, which has been rather random indeed. So yeah, thank you to everyone for those comments. Ballum also saying that Köln need to fight and grind it out if they are to get a result, and I think me and Mark would completely agree with that. So yeah, thank you again to everyone that's watching along with us so far. Hope you've been enjoying the match. Almost half an hour into this one. Bayern are 1-0 up, but they could have scored a good few goals already. Köln with one good chance, but they've been slightly more limited, and they need to get themselves back into this match.
And through again, Bayern Munich. They're in again. Oh, it's gone wide. That's incredible. Sane has just missed an absolute sitter. I can't believe it, really. Like, Cologne are living a dangerous life. And again, it's Harry Kane this time who plays brilliant football to turn on the midfield. And again, it's Sane who plays him in. But no, sorry, not Sane. It's Mazraoui actually who plays him in. And how he misses that one, I'll never know, really. I mean, it should be 3-0 in truth to the away side. They're just completely dominating at the minute. And Cologne just can't stop these lightning counter-attacks, really. They win the ball at the back and 2-3 passes and they're one-on-one with Schwebe in the Cologne net. So, Rory, can you believe he's missed that one?
Not really. It seems like they've all got, they've got a deal on tonight that the only person that can score is Harry Kane, because, I mean, any other night, any other night it's 4-0 already. And your predictions coming in off after 28 minutes or whatever it is. Great play by Kane in the first place, and the pass across for Sane just gets stuck under his feet a little bit. Obviously, Sane was sent off in the international break against Austria in Germany's friendly, so you'd imagine he'd probably be cutting a fairly frustrated figure. So is that something that the home side can play on, maybe, Mark? Getting, more frustrated, couple of not late tackles, but a couple of, little quiet words, or getting physical with him. And you never know, you could get him to react in a sense, maybe, just kind of spitballing, really. But at the moment, they could really use with the man advantage, because Bayern are really starting to come on strong.
Yeah, this is another chance from a long ball through it. It's looking really, really bleak at the minute for Cologne. They just can't get out, and surely it's just a matter of minutes before the second goal here, because they've had probably 3-4 chances since the 1-0. And it's looking a little bit bleak at the minute for the home side. But yeah, I mean, he hasn't. It's hard to analyse Sané's performance, because he's always there. I mean, his first touch is superb. He always gets the chances, doesn't he? And he did get the assist for the goal, well, the pre-assist for the goal as well. And he has had a good game on the one side, but on the other side, he's got to be a bit more clinical, really. I mean, he's missed probably 3 chances in the game, 2 sitters, I would say. And he obviously has been clinical this year. He's already on, I think, 8-9 goals, which is really good from a wide position. But I mean, tonight he's not being clinical, and he needs to. The fans of the German national team are still not completely convinced by him, because he's never really shown his best in a German national shirt. That red card won't have helped at all against the rivals, Austria as well, local rivals, obviously, in that game. Just as Cologne finally have an attack. Actually, it's a big chance for Cologne. It's a massive save, actually, from that man, Manuel Neuer. The first we've really seen from him, apart from that offside. It was a great ball in, I think, from Kainz. The header comes in. It was an unorthodox header, but it bounced high, and it looks like a half-decent save there on the first replay. Probably the first chance, apart from that offside one, that Cologne have created in the game. And again, that's the difference that Neuer makes. He's just so confident. He just kind of swatted the ball out of the air, picked it up, and Bayern straight on the attack again. There's a lot of German fans that are still talking that he might be the number 1 for the Euros as well, because even though he's officially retired, his performance has already gone back to the top drawer, even though he's been out for 10 months, and I just think a lot of German fans, I think, will be willing to give him one more chance in next summer, especially considering the woes of the likes of Trapp, Ter Stegen, none of whom have really impressed in a Germany shirt when given the chance. So yeah, Rory, how important is Neuer to Bayern and also Germany as well, potentially?
He's massive, isn't he? To Bayern, he just makes such difference. They'll have a job on their hands, taking a long-term replacement after he decides to call it a day. As you say, really competent save, and he often uses that technique, doesn't he, to save chances, and kind of pushes the ball up in the air or whatever it might be, and he does that really well there to claim it and prevent what would have been a really shocking comeback. I mean, like Samuel said earlier, it could be 5. Well, he thinks it might be 5-2 to Köln, but I mean, it should be 5-2 to Bayern really already after just more than half an hour played. So certainly, entertainment. I mean, we've had it already. It's just not reflected on the scoreline, amazingly. Just as Köln again clearing away from another Bayern attack, trying to go on a little counter themselves, and it ends shorter than it starts. Just picking up on something that Balam said as well, wanting to see some more vlogs coming along. So that might be the aim, Mark. Can you get to a game before the winter break? We'll have to see. Seeing your busy schedule, if you can watch one in the cold for everyone and get a vlog done, we'll have to see about that. But we've got lots of other stuff coming. We'll be doing some more Derby Day stuff as well, most likely during the international break, during the winter break. So there'll be plenty of entertaining videos to keep you going during your festive period. Just as again, so still 1-0 to Bayern after about 34 minutes, roughly speaking. And Mark, I mean, we said who would be the most pleased out of the managers. Obviously, Tuchel will be pleased to be winning the match, but he'll know that it should be done and dusted already, and that will frustrate him.
Yeah, it will frustrate him, but to be honest, I think he will be quite happy with how his team have played. I think they realised early on about that long through ball, and they've used it a lot, and it's really, really been useful. It's probably created 6-7 chances, only one of which they've been able to take. But I mean, I just had a little look at the when you were talking there, Rory. I was having a look at the XG, and it's already very, very high for Bayern. It's already 2.18 after just 34 minutes, which is really, really high for a team, especially an away team. In the first half, because usually teams, on average in football, they create more chances in the second half. That's typically how it goes in football when players tire. And as for Köln, they're on about 0.4. Which is not absolutely terrible, to be fair, themselves. But, especially considering I think a few teams against Bayern this season have averaged like less than 0.2 after 90 minutes. So, they have had half chances. But, I mean, it is a concern that, the XG is just ridiculously high for this stage of the match. But, Bayern, for some reason, they've had a lot of criticism this season. But I think the last 4 or 5 games have really kind of clicked into gear. And they've got that goal scorer now, you see. When you've got a goal scorer in the team, it just makes such a difference. I mean, even with that brilliant Man City team, you saw the difference that Haaland made. They go from being Premier League winners to Champions League winners and Premier League winners with a top striker. And I think, Bayern Munich are in contention for everything this year, apart from obviously the DFB Pokal after that absolutely dreadful elimination against third division Saarbrücken.
Yeah.
But, that they are still favourites for the Bundesliga. Everybody's talking about Leverkusen. I even saw an article on the BBC about Leverkusen the other day, which is very rare.
Indeed.
Everybody's talking about them. But for me, Bayern are still hot favourites to win the league because they've made a brilliant start as well. Let's not forget that. I mean, if they win tonight, this will be their 10th win in 12 games and 2 draws. So, I mean, they're looking very, very hot. They've got so many good players in that team, on-form players, and they're going to take some stopping this year, Rory.
They will. It will take an absolutely fantastic Leverkusen team to do it. I do not see any team other than that being consistent enough to get past Leverkusen and Bayern this season. No chance. Dortmund haven't got in their locker. Leipzig's form has stuttered. And well, I mean, the only other team at the moment that's up there is my boy Stuttgart, who will not be consistent enough. Bless them. They're just the very fact that they're sandwiched in there is amazing in itself. So yeah, it has to be one of those two this season, and we'll look forward to hopefully a really great title race for the rest of the season. Absolutely, because both teams have got excellent players. Just as Bayern, have asserted control for a little while now, and they're going through their repertoire, trying to maybe bring Köln onto them a little bit so that they can find those pockets of space to give another chance for Harry Kane. I'm sure they would have liked a few more of their chances to fall to Harry, because I'm sure it would have been already more than 1-0. So. Yeah, what can you say from Köln's point of view so far, Mark? Obviously, they would have felt they were doing a good job until that 1-0 moment, and since then they've been working hard. They've been pressing as individuals here and there, and now they've gone into a deeper shape to then hope that they can now get on the break a little bit, but. Other than that, it's just a hard matchup for them, isn't it?
Yeah, just as the Köln Ultras hold up a big sign saying all cops are bleep. Yeah, so the Cologne fans are known as being kind of a bit like anti-police, anti-government and stuff like that a little bit, and quite a funny banner there at the background as well, in English as well, by the way. So quite a funny one there. Yeah, you see that all over Germany, actually, the ACAB. I can't repeat it on here, unfortunately, unless we'll get demonetized or something. But, all cops are, a certain word in English. It means, yeah. But, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've just got to keep pushing, basically, Cologne. You could see why they're down at the bottom at times, to be honest, because it's so easy to play through them, isn't it? I mean, we all know that not every team in the Bundesliga has the quality that Bayern Munich do, but at the end of the day, if you're getting played through that easily, then you're going to concede chances, and that's what's happened with Cologne this season. And they did come into this game on the back of a 2-game unbeaten run again after draws against Augsburg and Bochum, but they're the kind of teams they need to be beating really if they want to stay up, especially when they had such a poor start as well. And let's be honest, you're probably looking at a defeat here. Although if they do get in at 1-0, they'll be quite happy with that, I think, as the rain pours down and Stefan Baumgart continues to prowl on his touchline. Thomas Tuchel moaning away as usual. And I think both sides will be relatively happy with the state of play now. Bayern have played well. They should be 2 or 3 up in truth. But Cologne will be happy because, they've not been absolutely battered in this half, even though Bayern have obviously racked up a big XG and created a lot of chances. But it is still only 1-0. The night will carry on getting colder as it gets towards 10:30 in German time when the match will finish. So you never know. Some of the international Bayern players might start, not fancying it in the second half a little bit. As Kingsley Coman, some really good play from him. Feeds Lima. Oh, but it's well cleared in the end by Hubers, Martel actually gets the clearance in this time. And it is going to be a corner for FC Bayern Munich, Rory.
Yeah, well, obviously we'll keep an eye on that one in case anything comes of it. But otherwise, as you say, both teams will be relatively okay with the state of play at the moment in this match. Kind of just feels like a bit of a lull in the match until, we see a next move, a strategic move from either of the two teams. If they ramp it up in from a pace point of view, Bayern, if they want to try and get that second goal before half time, which of course would be huge. Or if Köln can hang on, keep it 1-0, or even better, maybe make it 1-1 and shock everyone.
It almost came then as well, actually. Sorry, just to interrupt you. It almost came. Yeah. Kingsley Coman had a chance from the miscleared. He took it really well. Great first touch and a great strike, but it was well saved by Schwaber. Just as the second corner is going to come in. I mean, corners in this kind of weather are a massive weapon. And in the Bundesliga in general, we see a lot of goals actually from corners. And Kimmich is probably going to swing this second one in the in-swinger. Let's just stay with this. Actually, it's an outswinger from... Oh, it's going to be a third corner in a row, actually, as that one was cleared after the strike from Goretzka. Behind. Yeah. And it's going to be once again Sane, is it again with the outswinger? Yeah, it is again. Oh, and it's one again, but it's cleared this time, but only as far as once again Kane now on the ball. Oh, jeez, it was almost an own goal. That would have been a horror own goal. I think it was it Lubicic in the end who ends up getting onto it? It was, jeez, yeah. He almost ends up putting it into his own net, but he recovers really well there. No, it's Carstensen, actually. Carstensen kind of gets a big touch. Schwaber looks beaten, but he just about recovers. And it's another corner, the fourth corner in a row in succession from Bayern Munich. Pretty much everyone's caused some degree of trouble so far. Yeah. As once again, Sane swings in. Oh, it was actually won by Kim, but he kind of messed it up and hit it straight at a defender. They've still not got the ball out, though. Oh, a miss-hit clearance this time by Cologne. They just cannot get out here. And was there an offside there? Or I think there was a clash of heads in there, so we're going to have a bit of a stop for injury there, Rory.
Yeah, it's just relentless at the moment from Bayern. They really want the second goal, don't they? For them, maybe, well, almost win the match. Depends what sort of belief the home side have within them. They are digging in. They're working hard. You can see that on from their facial expressions that they are having to work really hard just to keep this at 1-0 for now. And whether it is defending set pieces or having to try and stop whatever Bayern move might come their way. But yeah, it's still survival mode. Let's see how long they can last. Hopefully they can, keep at it and get themselves an opportunity here. But yeah, like you say, on a cold and wet night in Cologne, they just got to keep at it and hope, like you say, that Bayern maybe get a little bit too frustrated if it's not going their way, and then a mistake might happen, a lapse of concentration might happen. Like you say, the Upamecano clash. Some Bayern players getting a little, a few gestures here and there, a little bit frustrated, but they'll know that they're well in control of this match. We're drawing towards half time now. It won't be long until it's half time. And when it is half time, we'll probably have a little bit of a look ahead again to the weekend's fun. And maybe just do a few more kind of chats about what we expect to happen. We've obviously done our main predictions. We'll kind of refer back to that a little bit as well, maybe. And see what's going to be coming up. Just seeing some keeper efficiency stats on my screen here. Schwaber is 4.3 saves up on his expected saves this season. He's made 41 saves this season. Looks like the most in this on this graphic anyway. Obviously, I guess when I say you'd expect to see him up here, but it's Gregor Kobel basically who's at the top of it. He's often having to pull out quite a lot of wonder saves to, spare Dortmund's blushes at times from a defensive point of view, and he's well up there as well. From an saves point of view, we've got stats for everything these days in footy. So Schwaber performing admirably for his side, trying to keep it at 1-0 and trying to keep the home side in this as we draw closer to half time. As we do, another reminder, please do give us a thumbs up on this video if you can do. That'd be fantastic. Thumbs up for some more goals as well. A thumbs up, I'm sure, will deliver the goods. And then comment along what are your thoughts on the first half so far. What are your thoughts on Harry Kane? If you're an English viewer, do you miss him in the Premier League? Do you think the move is right for him? Maybe we can talk about that a little bit. If you have any questions about the main man, Harry Kane, then give us a shout. Of course, please keep on subscribing to the channel to allow us to keep on pushing forwards. We really want to have a really strong month or so going into the winter break. We want to do as many different things as we can as well, and not keep all the different kind of Monday shows the same. So we'll be trying to do a few different bits and bobs here and there. Plenty to look forward to. As Mark, the game, it's gone pretty scrappy, hasn't it? Let's be honest. It's been really enjoyable for the first 30 minutes, but since then it's been a bit more Bayern in control and Köln just disturbing the match flow where they can, really.
Yeah, it has. I think there's not been many chances, to be honest, for the last 15 minutes for Bayern, just as we enter the last minute of stoppage time with Bayern deep in the Cologne half, as it's been for much of the game, to be honest. But they have won a free kick on Davy Selker, a foul from Kim on Davy Selker. It looks as though that will be the last action of the first half with only 30 seconds on the clock. I think Cologne will be relatively happy to go in at 1-0, to be honest. It's definitely not a disaster for them. They were big underdogs. I think they were like 10-1 to win this game or something. Nobody fancied them at all. Kane probably hasn't had his absolute best outing, but he still ended up with a goal under his belt, which is just typical Kane, basically. I think probably, it's been the midfield for Bayern, really, who's been the best for me. I'd say Lima and probably Goretzka, along with Kimmich, who've been probably the ones that have stood out more than anyone. For Cologne, it's just difficult, isn't it? Because, Kynes has been good at times, just as the halftime whistle goes, and it shows that Bayern have an XG of 2.36, which is very, very high for a first half of football, although I think it was 2.2 just after half an hour. So they didn't create very much at all in the last 15, 18 minutes or so. Who do you think could be happier, Rory? I mean, it's kind of an obvious question, but it's definitely not over, this one, is it?
Well, no, it's not over, and that's what Köln have to take from this. They've slowed the game down. They've done what they needed to do. They've defended set pieces well enough, although it did look dangerous, that spell of 4 in a row. I think Bayern will be frustrated, to be honest. They've played well, but like any top team, they'll have high standards, and they expect to be 2-3-0 up. As you say, the XG speaks for itself. Kane has had a good half, I think, but again, for his high standards, he'll be maybe disappointed not to have been the lucky one to have been on the end of some of these chances. So yeah, at the moment, half time is upon us. It is 1-0 to the away side, Bayern Munich, on this Friday night Bundesliga clash to get us going for match week 12 of the Bundesliga. Thank you so far to everyone who's joined us for the first half. Really appreciate it. Even better if you can join us for the second half and beyond during half time as well. And yeah, share with your friends, share with your family, get them all involved for what is going to be a goal fest of a second half. I guarantee it. So make sure you don't miss out on it and enjoy with us. So yeah, we sometimes, depending on how exciting the game is or whatever, we kind of either reflect on match stats or kind of look ahead to predictions. So I think what we'll do is at this halftime break is just have another look ahead to the fixtures coming this weekend. So I'll just bring them up on my phone now, and we'll kind of go maybe into a little bit more depth as we did obviously in the prediction show if you want to check that out. So naturally, Mark, Leverkusen at the moment are thinking they'll need to react to a Bayern win to go back ahead of them tomorrow afternoon. So they're kicking off at 2:30 UK time, 3:30 German time, of course. And away to Werder Bremen, which, they've been underperforming Werder, of course, so far this season. They're, still in trouble, but they've just found a way recently to, stay in matches, get a couple of positive results. I think that man Marvin Dushk has been massive for them. He's been linked to a few English clubs recently, actually, as well. So, I mean, we've put this down as being a comfortable away win. I think I predicted it to be 3-0 or something like that. Is there anything more that you want to say about this game? Do you just think that, again, the first goal will be quite important, especially if Leverkusen go out early doors? They'll be thinking that they want to score as many as possible.
Yeah, I don't think it's that easy of a game. I can't remember. I think the only time Werder have lost at home this season was against Bayern, actually, in the game that we covered, ironically, which was the curtain raiser for the season. I actually think they're a decent home team, Werder. As you say, they don't win that many, but they're a solid home team, and they do have goals in the side. As you say, Dutch has been really good in the kind of after the departure of Füllkrug to Dortmund. He got his first German cap as well over the weekend, which was great to see. So he's going to be really kind of, buoyant for this game. Leverkusen are an amazing team, but you've got to remember that Frimpong got a knock as well over the international break. So they don't know if he's going to start. I've got him in my fantasy football team, so I really hope he does start. But I think he should do. But when players are carrying knocks, it's always a little bit risky, isn't it? So I don't think it's an absolute banker, this one. No, I really don't. I do believe that Leverkusen will win. Yeah, but it's you've got to remember that a lot of Leverkusen players have been all over Europe. The vast majority of their team, if not all of their team, are internationals. And, the likes of Boniface has been to Nigeria, Palacios has been to Argentina, the long trips in a short space of time. And, Werder, I think only probably Dux has played international. I'm not sure any other players, maybe some kind of minor teams in there. But it's, it does make a big impact, that. And, the Werder Bremen crowd at the Weser Stadion, they back the team. It's a great crowd there. And it's not a gimme, this one. But I still just think that Leverkusen, they just have so much quality in the team, and they probably will win it. But I would like to see a very, the last away game when they went to Hoffenheim, there were some worrying signs in that game. They blew the 2-0 lead. And, if they want to keep track with this Bayern team, then they're going to have to keep winning. At home, they always seem to be really comfortable. But if you can get at Leverkusen, it's going to be away from home for me.
Yeah, so, Bremen, from a home perspective, are the 7th best team, 6 matches at home, 10 points, and, 12 goals for, 10 against. So take from that what you will. But definitely a better performing side at home. And I think that it will be a tricky one, but I still think that Leverkusen will have enough. I think Xabi Alonso was saying that he doesn't have any new injury concerns in the pre-match presser. So taking the Frimpong one into context, I presume by the way of him saying that, Frimpong will start. So yeah, if Leverkusen start strong, then you'd expect that to go their way. Interestingly, just picking up on a comment about tonight's match, Moritz, obviously one of our regular viewers and friend of the show as well, saying that Kane hasn't been too great tonight. Obviously scored an open goal, but apart from that, not too sure. So yeah, interesting thoughts there, Moritz. Yeah, I think he's been okay. He's been fine. Couple of good passes as well, I think it's fair to say, but none more that he would not expect to be able to make in a normal day. So yeah, work to do for the Englishman. What other games stick out this weekend then? I think, again, without being, well, what about Dortmund? Dortmund Gladbach, I think, is going to be an exciting one, which is also a Saturday afternoon kickoff. Huge game for the home team, particularly, I think, this Mark, really. Again, having spoken about this last night, we were, reflecting, saying that this game often has a lot of goals in it. I mean, Gladbach are an exciting team to watch just because you never know what's going to happen with them. They'll either be fantastic or they'll be terrible. And yeah, Dortmund have got the pressure of the last two Bundesliga games. They have lost to Bayern and Stuttgart. So yeah, I can't remember who predicted this one. Actually, I think did you take it and you said
I think you tipped it. You tipped a Dortmund win, I think.
Live tip a Dortmund win. Losing track of ourselves here. We should probably.
He went for a 3-1 or a 2-1 home win. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Dortmund traditionally are a strong home side. So yeah, any further thoughts on this one, Mark? Obviously ahead of the Saturday afternoon matches.
Yeah, I think this is one of the most interesting of the weekend. Obviously, first of all, it's two massive clubs. It's two really interesting clubs, and the second thing is, I mean, it's it's a massive game. It's a derby, and as for Edin Terzic, they're in big trouble. He looks in trouble if they don't get 2 wins this week. Obviously, they play Gladbach and then AC Milan in the Champions League. Say they lose those 2 games, geez, you're going to see for the first time massive danger in the direction of Edin Terzic. I do believe they will win the game, probably because they always do win at home. They always find a way, unless they're playing Bayern Munich or Mainz last season, then they always do win at home, let's be honest. But I think Gladbach look a decent side now, and I'm happy that Sioane has managed to get a tune out of that squad, because I do like Sioane as a manager. I really think he's a talented manager. Early on, it looked a little bit ropey for him. I think he only won 1 of his first 9 games, but he's got 7 points from his last 3 games, as well as still being in the cup as well. So things are definitely going fine for him. This is a big test, though, for him, because say they lose 4-0, then Gladbach fans will be thinking, well, it's back to square one, basically, But say they can, Gladbach fans are reasonable, they won't expect them to win this game, but they'll expect them to compete in this game against the Dortmund side, who aren't playing well at the minute. They've only taken 1 point from the last 3 games. And, I think it'll probably be a 2-1 and a late Dortmund winner, this one. That would be my prediction. But I think it'll be an even game in terms of chances. But, if Player and Jordan can continue the form, and, Kvan Chara as well, continue the form that they've been on in recent weeks, then who knows? We could see a big shock here and big pressure on Edin Terzic.
Yep, absolutely. Just looking at players available or not available as well. I think Kobel was said that he would be fit, so I expect Kobel to start in net for Dortmund, so that's obviously a big plus for them. Just no Nemecha mainly for Dortmund, I think, from an injury point of view. Still no Itakura for the Gladbach, but yeah, as you say, I think it will be a close and entertaining match. Looking forward to that one. Interestingly enough, as you said, Dortmund's home form, they're the 5th best performing home side so far this season with 13 points gained, but they've only scored 9 goals in 6 matches, which is so un-EVB like. So that's definitely something that is going to be interesting this season. They brought in Füllkrug because Seb Haller hasn't quite hit his straps. Fantastic story in the fact that Haller is even playing football, obviously, after his diagnosis and making his way back. And they came back and actually was playing really well, I thought, towards the tail end of last season. But this season is just not working for him yet. And, it may well come and he'll start bagging in goals for fun, hopefully, just from that point of view. But, yeah, Füllkrug scored a handful of goals, but obviously isn't prolific. Certainly, again, not yet. So that'll be something they'll be thinking about, especially if you look at the 4 teams that are above them in the home form table, which is Leipzig, Stuttgart, Bayern, and Leverkusen, and they've all scored 19 plus. So they've all scored 10 more goals at home than Dortmund. So there you have it. From a statistical point of view, just interesting reading in general. What are the big games that we got this weekend? Yeah, the Saturday evening one does look tasty, doesn't it? 2 form sides. Frankfurt and Stuttgart going head to head. Mark, you had your say on this one in the prediction show. I always try to stay clear of doing the Stuttgart predictions because I always will end up jinxing my boys. So yeah, I just think it's one of these games that we'll be able to sit back and enjoy on a Saturday evening. Basically, I think injury point of view, neither side are looking too bad. Stuttgart have obviously got Guirassy back, and he survived the international break. They've even got, Wagnerman was on the bench for the Dortmund game, wasn't he? So he's also back in action. So there's no great concern from a Stuttgart, squad point of view. I think Frankfurt, by the looks of it, are only maybe missing Robin Koch and Roder. They both only got knocks, apparently, so they both might play as well. So fresh teams, and it should be an entertaining run out, this one.
Yeah, this is the game of the weekend for me, I think, actually. I think this is going to be a really good game. It's 2 teams on form, 2 teams having good seasons. I think Dino Topmüller has not got the credit that he could have done, to be honest. I mean, I think early on we criticised him a bit for being a bit dull and defensive and things, but they've really come out of the shell the last 5-6 games. And they've gone from a team that, have very low scoring games to a team that have become entertaining, which is the Frankfurt that we all know and love, Always been known as a team that play great football and attacking football with some great talents. And, the likes of Larsen and Chaibi have really kind of emerged as the new talents as well. And who would have thought it, but that man Omar Mamouche seems to be doing pretty okay there as number 9. I think since he's replaced Ngankam, it's made a big difference, to be honest, to that attack. And I'm happy for him because he's always shown strokes of brilliance, but he's never been consistent at Stuttgart or Wolfsburg, was he? But I think he looks like he's found a home there. It's a very good home as well, by the way, Frankfurt. I mean, it's a big club with a lot of fans and, the potential to qualify for Europe as well ahead of next season. We all know that Frankfurt have got a lot of money in the bank as well after the Muani and Lindstrom transfers. And a lot of people expect them to spend big in January, actually. So they are a team that could get even better for the second half of the season. So, they're just going to want to keep going with the same level that they've been showing, the last 5-6 weeks. And if they can be in the top 7-8 in January, they might be able to get some real good signings in. It'd be interesting to see whether they do decide to kind of splash out in January or whether they decide to wait until summer, really.
I think they have to be smart about it, don't they? And not go too early in the market, perhaps, unless there is that real... I know they've been linked to a few strikers already. I'm sure that obviously they'll be doing their due diligence around it. But yeah, I think it'd be smart for them just to weigh up the options. If they end up going to get another, someone half as good as Kolo Muani, then they'll be absolutely flying. We like seeing a good Frankfurt in the Bundesliga. They're usually a great watch. I think we reflect nicely on them as well, considering, we watched their Europa League journey, obviously all the way to the final and winning it not too long ago. So that was great. From a Bundesliga perspective as well. Speaking of which, the players are now starting to trudge out onto the pitch, Mark, and they'll probably be almost starting on your end as well. So you can interject when there's some action. Just want to pick up on Balance question in around Harry Kane. Is he going to get Robert Lewandowski's goal scoring record in one season in the Bundesliga? It's a question that's been asked a lot already. Is our Ari going to do the job?
Well, he's well on the way, let's be honest. Yeah, I think, was it 36 in the end that Lewandowski got that year? I think 36 or 37.
I think it's more than that, isn't it?
It was what? It was more than that. Okay, I have to check that one. But yeah, whatever. He's well on the way. You know, I mean, he's got, that's, I think, 18, 19 now he's got, and we're not even close to halfway through the season. After tonight, there's still another 5 games until the halfway point. So,
yeah,
you know, he'll fancy another goal or two tonight as well, will Harry, because, you know, he'll look at this Cologne side and just think, you know, he can definitely get another, potentially even another hat-trick, because he's already got, 3 hat-tricks in the Bundesliga so far, which is just ridiculous. And, you know, he probably feels he should have had one against Heidenheim as well after getting 2 in the first half, and he missed a few chances in the second half of that one, actually.
Yeah.
So, you know, he'll fancy another hat-trick here. He's a very confident guy, and I think playing in the European game, playing in Germany, is going to refine his game as well, you know, and actually playing for a team that wins stuff as well. Let's be honest, with all due respect to Tottenham, I mean, to have a player like him and not win anything at all is pretty poor in many ways. Right? And you can't blame Kane. Like, a lot of people want to blame Kane, but he did everything he could for that team. And, you know, his record shows that. I mean, it was just the fact that certain teammates made mistakes at the wrong time, but he's not going to have to deal with that at Bayern Munich, because that just doesn't happen there. You know, the serial winners, you know, they're going to be at the top end of the Champions League, the top end of the Bundesliga this year. Obviously, the Super Cup and the DFB Pokal losses are going to hurt big time, you know, because he would have expected to have done a lot better in those tournaments. But they're still going to win something this year, you know, for me, whether it's the Bundesliga or the Champions League. And, you know, I do believe he will break his duck finally. Obviously, he's never won a trophy. He's 30 years old this year. He's never won a trophy, despite being one of the best strikers, like, the last 20 years or even more, to be honest.
Well, yeah, you know, football's an unforgiving game, isn't it? And the fact that they are out of the Pokal and that they didn't, well, you know, win the Super Cup, not that it's like a hugely sought after trophy, but it does put the pressure on them to, you know, to get past a fantastic Leverkusen side. And then, obviously there's lots of excellent teams in Europe as well. So they've got their work cut out for them. And, well, they've got their work cut out for them tonight as well, as we get ourselves underway in the second half. And Köln have come out pressing with a bit of energy straight away, you know, retaining the ball a little bit better in the first minute or so. Bayern have a job to do here, Mark, and, you know, they'll want to get that goal early doors and push on and win the game by 2 or 3, but they'll have to weather a bit of an early storm. I'm sure Baumgart has got well into his boys and say, hey, look, it is 1 goal here, and you will send, you know, the home fans into delirium, and you'll panic the away side if you can get at them. And I expect them to do so, hopefully, in the next 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, just as a really good tackle from Hubers there to stop Sane going in again for probably about the 10th time in this match. But yeah, you got to remember that the last time Bayern came here was obviously a sunny May afternoon. I remember me and you were covering it, Rory, as well. And a certain Jamal Musiala, who isn't playing today, by the way, curled in that beautiful strike to win the league and send it back to Munich for the 11th year in a row. But yeah, I just think Cologne do have a decent record against Bayern, you know, over the years. They don't always win, but they tend to push them close, which is really important. And, you know, they're only at 1-0. It's hard to analyse their first half, because you've got to be realistic for a side that have only won once and sit second bottom of the league. You know, they weren't great in the first half, but they were okay. You know, they fought hard. You know, they weren't absolutely dire, but it should be more than 1-0. We all know that. You know, you probably should be looking at 2-3-0 would be a fair reflection of the game. But, I mean, they're still in it, you know, and they've just got to keep fighting. They need a bit of luck, too. They need Bayern to keep missing chances, because they will create more and more chances, as they usually do. And, you know, if they do get a half chance, they've got to take it. You know, that's absolutely key in these kind of games.
Yeah, completely agree. So yeah, we shall see how this second half goes as we get further into it. Uh, Again, just a little bit of a nudge in the right direction to give us a thumbs up if you're watching this evening. Really appreciate everyone who does this and supports us as we go along throughout the season. Obviously, it's been a long while since we've done a watch along, so we really appreciate you all choosing to spend your Friday evening with us and watch on your phone or your TV or wherever it might be. So we really appreciate it. And we really appreciate you commenting along as well and saying hello, whether you're watching, whether you're just, casually wanting to comment on something Bundesliga related, give us a shout. We really, really enjoy all the interaction that we get. And of course, subscribe as well. Make sure you don't miss out on all the action and reaction that we provide on the Bundesliga on a weekly and often daily basis. So yeah, make sure you don't miss out. And if you are watching on X, formerly known as Twitter, make sure you pop over and say hello on YouTube for a little while as well. It's always really appreciated. So yeah, still Köln, spending a little bit more time in the opposition half, which will be a pleasant viewing for the home fans so far, Mark. Yeah, I think just as we expected, really, that Köln will come out with a bit of enthusiasm, and Bayern will have expected this, and they're in a shape now, and they're almost ready just to pounce, aren't they? Like a coiled viper, ready to pounce on the counter attack and release Sane, Coman, and Chupo and Harry on the break.
Yeah, they've had a couple of half chances with Kind to put in a good ball, but it wasn't quite possible in that occasion. Thielmann just wins a free kick there after a foul from Chupo. But yeah, they're looking all right. As you say, Chupo's actually got the first yellow card of the match there, which is maybe a little bit harsh to book him for that. But Thielmann was away from him and he pulled him back, so it probably was cynical. But yeah, the first yellow card of the match for Eric Choupo-Moting. But yeah, Thielmann is dangerous, and he's been injured for most of the season. He's just come back into this Cologne outfit, so he's not going to be able to make that much of an impact tonight potentially. But he is a player going forward that's going to be important for their survival effort. Just as again, Cologne play a good ball there, diagonal towards Thielmann again, who's had quite a lot of the ball in the second half, by the way. He's really playing very, very tight towards the touchline at the minute, and he's getting quite a lot of the ball, although he's just giving it away there, well intercepted from Mazraoui. But yeah, Cologne, I'd say that it's been a 50-50 second half into the first 7.5, 8 minutes, and things are looking a bit better for them at the minute. And they'll know, as I said earlier, if they can keep it to 1-0 going into the last 10 minutes, they'll see that as a result, because then they can just go gung-ho, and if they get a goal, they'll probably get a point from that, Rory.
Yeah, pretty much. Although having said that, you never know with Bayern, do you? I mean, so as state of play goes, and around this sort of time, maybe in 10 minutes, we start talking about it a little bit more in terms of what is on the bench for both teams today, and the opportunities for managers, head coaches to earn their big bucks and make big tactical, and big substitutions. So if we look at the home side to start with, I mean, I presume that Baumgart will probably keep his cards close to his chest as long as this stays 1-0. But I guess the longer it stays 1-0, Mark, he'll also be looking at his attacking options on the bench. So what do you foresee is the best option? Obviously, we know that, their big signing effectively is the youngster Tigges from, formerly of Dortmund, but things aren't, going to plan too much for him. They've got Mark Rory on the bench as well, who's, returning slowly but surely. And they've got Waldschmidt as well. So, I mean, out of those three options, who do you think would be the best one to push Köln further up the pitch and, get maybe a crucial goal for them?
I think probably Oot, to be honest. I really like Mark Oot as a player, actually, in general. I think I really hope he does manage to get back into being a fixture in this Cologne side, because even the little I've seen of him this season, he's not played much, but he's always looked good, and I think he was brilliant that season when Cologne finished 7th and got in the Conference League. He was almost as good as Modeste. Obviously, most of the credit went to Modeste, but Effzeh was always there. He was the one that was, playmaking, and he's a massive player, and he's genuinely a talented player as well. Effzeh. I also think Waldschmidt as well. Like, he's a funny player, and he's not quite gone on to do what people thought he would in his career, but I think he does have potential, and which is a flicked header there, goes over the Cologne bar from Goretzka. But yeah, I think Waldschmidt has potential. I really do, and I think at times, especially against Gladbach this season, he was superb in that game, but he's not managed to kind of build on that form. And, he's obviously ended up being dropped for this big game. I don't think he's carrying a knock, so it must be form dropped. I guess for Thielmann's coming and replace him in that position. And then Tigges, I'm not sure of, really. I mean, he just looks like a poor man's Davy Selke, and that's not saying much at all. Let's be honest. I mean, I think all of us thought he looked half decent in that kind of I think that half season when he played a few games for Dortmund, but he just looks like a second league player in truth. And I just don't think he's got the mobility or the pace or anything really to harm this Bayern team. Although he's probably going to come off the bench and score a 90th minute.
Score a hat trick, yeah. His those career statistics so far, that and we say youngster, or I say youngster. He is 25 already, to be fair. So it's not like there's nothing expected of him, So far this season, for Tigges, 8 matches, no goals. Last season, 30 matches and 6 goals. Okay, obviously not great as a striker, but still. 4 in 5 appearances for Dortmund in his last season, and 9 and 3 as well. Although, the 5 and 4 was for the second team. 9 and 3. He scored 22 goals in 18 matches with the second team as well. Quite a few seasons back. So, yeah, he obviously just hasn't adjusted to first team football as well as he might have hoped. So, yeah, maybe not Tigges, but he has got the height. So we shall see from a set piece if he does come on. Obviously, I'm just seeing a Köln corner on my screen, which I will quite safely presume has come to nothing because you would have already seen it, Mark, as Kynes whipped it in, and header does just go looping over the bar from Hubers. So unlucky there. We drift towards the hour mark already, Mark. Pardon the pun, but yeah, we're getting there already, and we'll be getting to the point where managers are thinking about their benches.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you look at the Bayern Munich bench as well, there's no shortage of quality there. I mean, Gnabry, who hasn't had his best season really, has he? He seems to have dropped out of favour a little bit, which hasn't been helped by the form of some of his colleagues in the attack who've been brilliant this season, the likes of Sane, Kane, Coman. But then also you've got the likes of Mathys Tel as well, who's been in and out of the team this year. He's doing really well for a young guy. So I think he's only 18, 19, and he's got quite a few goals and assists this season. Obviously, as normal for a young man, he often gets in and out of form, but he could be a player that you could bring on into the second half and add a bit of pace as well. Thomas Müller, who he's definitely coming towards the end, isn't he? Really, Müller. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I think I wouldn't be surprised to see him retire within the next year or two, really. But he's always a player that can kind of give a bit of opportunity too.
Well, he'll be frustrated that he's not playing instead of Chupo, won't he? Let's be honest. Maybe even Mathys Tel will be frustrated that he's not playing instead of Chupo tonight for sure. But yeah, Tel is only 18, and obviously Muller is coming towards the end of his career. But he has recently said that he won't retire at the end of this season at the very least. Whether he fancies a season in Saudi, or I don't think he would probably do that. He might fancy a bit of America though, maybe. Thomas Muller. Bayern just not really clicking this half, are they, Mark? Just a few errors here and there. Another mistake from Sane, and he's looking a little bit more frustrated again still. So there is hope for the home side. Obviously, we haven't had the goals that we might hope to bring you or to entertain you all. So Yeah, apologies for that. Sometimes we get a little bit unlucky with our watch-alongs. I think the first like 5 we did from a watch-along point of view, a season or two ago, they were all like epic games.
Yeah.
But since then, we've been a little bit more goal-starved during our watch-along. So fingers crossed, the last half an hour or so brings us at least one more. So please do, stay with us. We will definitely get another one. I'm saying we'll get 2 more at least. I'm thinking. There's plenty more to come in this game for sure. Good play by Köln on the break, releasing Selke, and does he win a free kick? No, it doesn't even go out for a corner. But yeah, the home side are really growing into this, I feel, and not necessarily a momentum swing, but the second half has generally been played in the Bayern, half, which is, a real positive. Tillman, as you said, Mark, is coming into it. They're finding Selke a bit more. Baumgart has exacerbated on the bench as ever, throwing his enthusiasm into it. But despite all of this, Mark, at the moment, Köln stand to go rock bottom, which is also really scary thought for them.
Yeah, it is, but they can take a lot of positives with the way they've kind of stuck in this game. And yeah, I suppose it's just a lack of quality at the end of the day at times. But yeah, it's hard to know how to analyse the Cologne team, although they are about to make 2 changes. It is going to be that man, the big man, the Dortmund Messi. It's going to be Stefan Tigges.
Here he comes.
I remember me and you, Rory, we were so hopeful when they signed him. We were expecting 20 goals a season.
Well,
I don't think it's quite worked out that way, but he is going to get unleashed at this point. I think there is going to be another change as well, but I can't quite see who it is that's going to come on. It's definitely not Waldschmidt that they're preparing here, but we are going to see the big man, Stefan Tigges. It makes me wonder whether Waldschmidt maybe is carrying an injury, actually, because I would expect that he will get at least some game time in a match like this, because overall he's probably been their best player this season, I would say, in truth. But it is going to be Tigges, although at the moment, Mazraoui is still on the ball. And but as you say, Bayern up to now haven't created anything all the rain. Oh, but it's Sané overplays again. Sané is not at his best game today, and he's overplayed, and he's ended up not even winning a corner, which is pretty poor from that position. He was in on goal again for probably about the 20th time this match, and he ends up trying to square it inside, and he ends up kicking it against himself, really, and goes out for a goal kick. So that was probably the best chance of the second half, 17 and a half minutes in, really, Rory.
Yeah, absolutely. Still wasteful, really, Bayern. Their XG might be telling one story, but, honestly, they've just not been clinical. They've not applied the right finish at the right time or the right pass. Whether it's muddled thinking of people still being on aeroplanes, I don't know. Just right now it is not falling Bayern's way, and there'll be some slightly growing concerned looks on the Bayern bench as they realise that this game is far from done and dusted. We wait to see whether Stefan Tigges and any of the Köln substitutes, when they do appear as well, can make that big difference for the home side and for the Billy Goats. Can they do it on this Friday night fixture, the first of the Bundesliga for match week 12? Loads of great games to come, another 8. Really looking forward to them all. So looking forward to it all.
Just as we say that, the big man is coming. The big man is coming. Come on, Tigger, lad. Yeah, can he do it? Can he do the damage? And it's going to be that man, Selke. No surprise, Selke making way for the big man, the even bigger man. He's an absolutely monster of a guy. He must be about 6'5", 6'6" minimum. Yeah. He's absolutely huge. And also a player that I've not seen before, to be honest, number 40 for Cologne has come on as well. It's going to be, I'm not quite sure who it is, actually. Yeah, I can't really, Ali Do, for Lubicic. Yeah. So I can't really profess to knowing that much about him, Rory. Have you seen much of him?
So I know a small amount about him. Really, obviously, a young player, 22 years old, has had bits and bits of football so far this season for Köln. Um, Scored in a friendly win for them earlier on in the season, but that is as far as I can see. Really, he's come across from Frankfurt, having grown up playing with Hamburg as well. So obviously a good footballing education, no doubt. And will have talent. I am sure. Didn't quite work out for him at Frankfurt. So yeah, obviously be really interesting to see how he settles into this game. No better place, well, no better team to do it against than, oh my words, great feat from Manny Neuer. I mean, yeah. Again, the goalkeeping thing is just such a difference. He is just not phased by anything. He does not care. He'll just crack on. But anyway, yeah, let's see how Ali Do goes. And indeed, the big man, Stefan Tigges, as Bayern went forward there, but again, coming to nothing. I'm sure Thomas Tuchel will be looking to his bench soon and saying, Matisse Tell, Serge Gnabry, go grab me a second goal and finish this game, for goodness sake, because I'm getting worried. But yeah, it is still 1-0 for the away side, and still Bayern look like they're going top of the Bundesliga, at least overnight. But yeah, if you stick with us here on Over the Bars Bundesliga show, we will see you all the way through and beyond, and hopefully we'll get, as we said, a couple of exciting moments and goals as this game goes towards the end, Mark. And I mean, if Köln played any differently in the second half, other than a bit more front-footed, still, the energy and the pressing's been similar-ish. They obviously dropped off for a little bit towards the end of the first half, but they've not played any great, I wouldn't say any massive technical tweaks that you've seen. They've just been, a lot better, I'd say.
Yeah, the midfield has been the main improvement. I think Martel has put himself in better positions, and they've stopped those, that plethora of through balls in the first half. They were just destroying them. I think 6 or 7 or even 8 in the first half. I think this half there's only been one that's got through them, and they've kind of stepped up a little bit. They've closed that gap, and they've closed the space a little bit for Bayern Munich. Although, to be honest, the last 2 or 3 minutes, it has been a bit more like what it was in the first half, and Bayern have started to dominate again.
Yeah.
We've not really seen anything from the subs. They've been on for 5 minutes or so, and we've not really seen anything from them. I don't even think either have touched the ball yet. Bayern Munich still looking comfortable, but as you say, at 1-0 in football, you're always going to be a bit nervous. You could, have a handball penalty, which nowadays there are so many of them. So you can never rest at 1-0 nowadays. It's not like the old days of Tony Pulis, where you could just, put up the battalion and just hold out for a 1-0. Nowadays, you can't do that in football, really, even if you're a team like Bayern Munich. So they will want that 1-0, that 2-0. And yeah, just seeing a few good comments coming in as well. Christian saying, I remember when I questioned your preseason table because you put Cologne last. Yeah, I remember too. Yeah, I think we got quite a bit of stick for putting Cologne last. Yeah, but let's be honest, so far through 12 games, almost 12 games, it looks pretty accurate, I've got to say, Rory. Yeah. And yeah, Kane only one shot. Yeah, he's not been at his absolute best tonight, but he's still, as things stand, got the winning goal. That's what great players do. Nobody can play well at every single match. But yeah, let's be honest. He's got the winning goal so far. And yeah, also, which fans are you all? I'm a VfB Stuttgart fan. You brought another one of you boys over, Rory. Yeah.
Yes, Gabriel. Yes.
Yeah, Rory's also a VfB fan, and I'm an FC Nuremberg fan. Is my first team. Yeah, hardcore. Clubberer, as they say over here, a fan of Der Club. Yeah, and the fans are known as clubberers. So, yeah, but in the Bundesliga, yeah, I'm kind of a neutral, really, I suppose. But there are teams that I kind of favour over others. Let's say that much. So, but yeah, my number one team in Germany is definitely Der Club FC Nürnberg. Yeah, Christian is a BVB supporter. Yeah. To be honest, before I came to Germany, actually, that was my favorite team. I don't think I've ever said that before, but I was always a BVB fan before I came to Germany. I mean, everybody remembers that great Jurgen Klopp team that got to the Champions League final and kind of stole everybody's hearts, really. Yeah, they were definitely, and to be honest, even now to an extent, I've got a sympathy with BVB, but yeah, obviously since I've come here and talked to a lot of German people, I realised that there are other teams that I like probably a little bit more than the big boys, so to speak. But yeah, definitely interesting questions there. Keep your questions coming in, guys, just as Bayern Munich have another corner about to come in as well. They are starting to dominate now, Rory, again a bit, aren't they?
Yeah, like you said, just in the last 5 minutes or so, they're getting themselves onto the ball a bit more. Maybe use the wings a little bit better and have gained a couple of decent opportunities, mainly via set piece, as Köln are in a much better shape, as you've already alluded to, from the midfield point of view. So again, obviously we're now on 71, 72 minutes. Fairly surprised that, am I surprised that Bayern haven't made any subs? I guess Tuchel's holding his cards also close to his chest and just saying to the lads out there, look, you have to go and win this game yourselves. You're not going to get too much help for the majority of the match. So yeah, we'll see. Well, we'll see if that comes back to bite him or not, I guess. But yeah, as you say, Mark, they are starting to assert a little bit more control. And to be honest, we're 25 minutes into the second half. It was around the 30-ish minute mark in the first half where Bayern really started to get control of the ball. And is that now, Mark, just because those Köln players are starting to run out of legs?
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, you can see a lot of kind of frantic clearances, and they're struggling to get out now. To be honest, I'm not sure whether that sub was good, actually, as much as we celebrated Tigges coming on. I think Selke, for all we've said about him, I think he does put himself about a lot more than Tigges. And at times when I watch Tigges, I just think, I just don't know what he's doing. He doesn't even look bothered at times. I would go that far, really. I think at least Selke, for his lack of quality, he always puts himself about. He always puts a shift in, and nobody can deny that about David Selke. And to be honest, since Selke's gone off, you've noticed that as well. There's been absolutely nothing in terms of hold-up play from Cologne. And Bayern have just literally completely dominated the ball in these 7-8 minutes since the substitutions were made. So I'm not sure that was going to be, go down as one of Steffen Baumgart's best moves. Although you never know. But Bayern Munich coming forward here. The difference is that they've closed up the space. So Cologne have done really, really well with that this half. There's been no stage in the half where Bayern have had a lot of space. And, with no space, it's hard. Football's a hard game when you've got no space,
Yeah, well, it's clear now that Köln they've changed their mindset from, okay, we'll come out in the second half really hot and we'll try and get an early goal and then we'll see what happens at 1-1, to now it's right, well, we're less than that X amount of minutes away, 6-ish minutes away from being into 80 minutes plus. So therefore, okay, well, if we then gamble and get a set piece or the odd counter, then like you said earlier, Mark, the chances are very high that they do get a 1-1 draw. So they've settled into shape and are probably thinking that that's the rest of their game sorted. They do not need to come out of their shells too much until they maybe hit the 80th minute, and then we'll maybe see a bit more aggression, couple more subs, and just a bit more of a direct game.
Yeah, I'm just laughing because I think you said before that we've been goal starved the last few times. But it's incredible. It seems like everyone we do is always the lowest scoring games at the moment. But yeah, it's definitely been an interesting match, this one has. And there should have been more than one goal, especially in the second half has been, I would go as far to saying, a non-event, really, mostly because of Cologne's good closing down play. They've closed that space away, and Bayern have not had a single clear chance in this half, But at the same time, Cologne have not got enough quality to really challenge the Bayern defense, especially since Selke's gone off. Yeah, I am worried about him because Tigges he's only been on the pitch for 5 minutes, but he's so slow. It's almost scary. Literally, like it's like putting a dinosaur on the pitch. Literally, it's just the guy just doesn't cover ground at all, and it's
The
he kind of
25
reminds me
year
of Peter Crouch in a way. He's kind of like a German Peter Crouch, but he's not as good with the ball at his feet. That's the problem. But he
Well,
is very, very slow and lethargic at times.
he's got to get the ball at his feet to actually make a start in the first place. I don't think he's touched it, has he?
No.
Bless him. He's been on. So what time he got subbed on?
10 minutes he's been on. No.
Yeah, it's been on 10 minutes. Yeah. So yeah, I'd like to see his heat map or his touch map. I don't think it'll be scattered with loads of great moments. Looks like
he's the definition of a battering ram, isn't he? He's what I would call a battering ram. Like that's all he does is just like, he's just like the kind of guy. Like he'd be good in a Tony Pulis team or a Sam Allardyce team, But in any kind of team that wants to play any kind of fast football, and he's just not that kind of guy, And I think, to be honest, I think his Bundesliga days are numbered, in truth, based on what I've seen of him this season. I think this will be his last season, and he'll probably, either with Cologne or with another team, he'll end up in the second league next year, to be honest. But,
our Köln's days numbered in the Bundesliga at the moment. Yes, they are indeed. I think we're going to see some more Köln substitutes as well. I saw them warming up on the sidelines, Mark. Has it happened on your end yet?
Not yet, no, but surely we're going to see Waldschmidt unless he's injured. But if they put him on the bench, then surely he's got to have some kind of fitness. Geez, a massive block there, though. Sane should have had the biggest chance by far of the second half. Brilliant play from Kingsley Coman, who squares the ball into the area. And it's a great block, actually. I'm not sure who got it, but it was great play from Coman. Sane... And it was Chabot. I think it was Chabot, who, by the way, has had a really good game today. He deserves a lot of credit.
Chabot and Hubers. Yeah,
they've been brilliant. And to be honest, the defense isn't that bad at Cologne. If you look at the numbers of goals they conceded, apart from that Leipzig game, they've been okay defensively. They've not been battered in many games. But the issue is that the attack is just, Kainz was good in the first half, but he's probably having his worst season in a long time, in truth. I think Thielmann is probably the one player in that Cologne attack that I really have a lot of hope in at the moment. But they are going to... Waldschmidt is on the pitch, by the way. Waldschmidt is on and Kainz is off. Who else is on? We have another sub as well. Just stay with me while I...
It's free sub.
Yeah, it is, yeah. It's Luca Kilian is off for Waldschmidt, so that's an attacking substitution. And then, it's Pacarada is on for Thielmann. I think Thielmann's just run himself into the ground today. Off the bar. It's hit the bar for Bayern Munich, but they've got away with it. It was Coman, actually, from a header, which is not often you see him have a header, but it looked like it hit the bar, or it could have been a save from Schwebe. Jesus, just as Manuel Neuer does his old sweeper-keeper style. We've not seen that for a while, have we? To kind of intercept a long ball there, which was actually a really dangerous situation there for Bayern. That's what I mean, though. You never know in football. At 1-0, you just can't be 100% sure.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, but it is starting to liven up. I think we're in for a good last 10 minutes, actually, here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, 3 subs for the home side. The other one is Hussein Basic, for Kainz. Waldschmidt and Pacarada all on. So, let's see. Baumgart's played. Baumgart has played his cards fully now. So, as you were, 10 minutes. Let's see what carnage can be created. Can someone force Manny Neuer into another big save, or even too big a chance for Neuer to be able to save it? He's looking very dominant in net for Bayern, as he always has done. So, as it stands, 1-0 to the champions away in Köln. At the moment, Bayern are going top. At the moment, Köln are going bottom. So completely contrasting fortunes for both sides. as it stands right now. So yeah, it'd be fantastic if you see it through with us for the last 5 minutes. Seriously appreciate anyone and everyone who's been watching with us tonight, whether you've been watching from minute 1 or even minute 60. Any support and watching with us is absolutely appreciated. So if you can give us a thumbs up as well, that would be absolutely excellent for us going forward. And of course, we'll be reviewing all the action on Monday evening after match week 12 has been brought to a close with the rest of the matches this weekend. I mean, what are we going to see different from Köln in the last 10 minutes or so? I guess they're going to try now play higher up the pitch, Mark, but it's going to leave spaces in behind them more so now, isn't it?
Yeah, I do expect we'll see another goal or two in the last 10 minutes. Because as you say, they've taken Kylian off and they've brought on, just as I say that, yeah, they are away again. It's Coman, who's been the best player in the second half. Oh, he has a shot just wide. But yeah, Bayern, it's not. One thing I found really strange is where are the substitutes for Bayern? I mean, that is bizarre. Yeah. 81 minutes, not a single substitution. That's really bizarre, to be honest. I'm shocked about that. The team has so much quality on the bench. It does make you wonder. Maybe Thomas Tuchel's trying to send a signal to the likes of Muller, because I mean the fact that he's not been called upon at any stage in this match is. Tuchel is a man that has bold opinions and he's not afraid to express his opinion, and it does make you worry a little bit for Muller, really, because he is coming to the end. And I agree with you, Rory. I wouldn't be surprised to see him leave Bayern, even if he doesn't retire. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go and spend a year in either Saudi or America or whatever. Maybe even in the Premier League, but I think he's a bit too old. He's kind of missed the boat for that now, perhaps.
Yeah, well,
but yeah, the fact that he's not been called upon here when they need a goal really to make themselves clear is a little bit worrying for the Bavarian legend. Also for Matisse Tell as well. I mean, he didn't have the best couple of games before the international break. I think he'll be a bit disappointed he's not been given any kind of nod here well into the game now. And yeah, definitely. Guerrero as well. He doesn't seem to get that much game time for this team as well. I wonder if he's kind of regretting the fact that he, moved from BVB to Bayern a little bit. Although he probably will end up getting his hands on a winner's medal finally. So maybe it's not all so bad. But, some of those Bayern bench players at the minute won't be overly happy, I don't think.
No, I mean, Guerrero's obviously had his injury problems. But yeah, recently he's not been playing well. Having come back from injuries, only played a little bit. Obviously scored against Heidenheim, mind. But yeah, I'm sure he'd fancy more than 10 minutes, which he's not going to even get that tonight. It feels like Tuchel just wants to make a point tonight. Either whether he wants to make a point to some of his players that are on the bench, or whether he wants to send a message, to the DFB saying that, I have to play all my best players tonight and they all have to play because whatever, they've not been given enough rest time, and I had to jeopardize the result of the match as a result, something weird like that. It just kind of feels like the no subs thing is strange, and that after an international break you would usually see a manager go into his bench pretty early in the match with players that presumably he trusts. But yeah, alas, nothing as of yet. Also, Christian saying that Muller didn't play for Germany either last week. So yeah, not going too well for our Thomas Muller right now. But it is going well for his side, who are at the moment going to be getting another 3 points courtesy of Harry Kane. Harry Kane's tap-in, which feels like an absolute age ago. So, yeah, as it stands, Bayern heading for a 1-0 win, just as Stefan Baumgart on the side was, either changing his trainers or for some reason taking them off, just getting ready for another few laps, I think. He's always so energetic on the edge of the box, isn't he? But, yeah, we haven't had that moment yet, have we, Mark? The bit of uncertainty, the big, where you always say a team who are 1-0 down, there's often that half chance or even that big chance. And, we haven't seen it yet, but there's still time.
There is, but I'm just not sure whether Cologne have got the energy or the quality. Obviously, the fact that Bayern have had so much possession has taken a lot out of the... Or the passing out from the back almost cost them again there, though. To be honest, that's been the best chance that Cologne have had in this second half. Bayern's passing out from the back.
Yeah.
They're taking a lot of risks there, which is, I don't think it's particularly clever at this stage of the game. 85 minutes on the clock now. If you concede a goal, you're going to need a miracle really to win the game. So yeah, that was one pass too many there from Kim to Neuer. But as Neuer always does, he always manages to find a way out of it. Yeah, I just think since Tigges came on, it's just killed Cologne, to be honest. It's 20 minutes since he came on now, and I'm not sure he's touched the ball. I'm really not. I think he's been, pretty much a passenger in the game. And, it's a little bit worrying for Cologne. It is that lack of striking effort, isn't it, for Cologne? They've not scored enough goals. I think they're still on, 8 goals this season. They're averaging less than a goal a game in the Bundesliga, and you can't do that. It's... They don't have a top-level striker. They have a workhorse in Selke, but once he goes off, Tigges just isn't doing the business at the minute. And although they have won the ball back well there, and it's Minor who we haven't. Oh, it went out of play though. Oh, that's so frustrating. They were finally in a good position, but the ball's just gone out of play there.
Yeah, not seeing much from him tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think for Cologne, you've got to give them a lot of credit from the defensive effort. Definitely, I think there's a lot of defenders for Cologne that can take a lot of credit from this game. Schwaber has been good as well. Yeah. He rarely puts a foot wrong, really. In this Cologne side, he is a good goalkeeper. I think Chabot is a good player too. He really is. I think Hubers has been good tonight. Carstensen. But it's just the attack. I just don't see. For me, it's the bluntest attack in the league, and I would include Darmstadt in that as well. I just think there's not enough goals. Kainz needs to start getting goals again, and Thielmann as well. Obviously, he's probably their best player today from an attacking perspective, but it's still not enough, and they're going to end up with an XG in this game, probably of less than 0.5, I would imagine, and well under 1 anyway. So you've got to find a way to score goals in football, haven't you, ultimately? And they play well tonight. There's a lot of credit they can take, really. Baumgart will credit them. He really will. But you've got to start scoring goals, and that's what they just don't seem to have in that team.
No, and well, credit as well to the ultras behind the goal. I have to say, obviously, we haven't got our games on loud, otherwise, we'll be able to hear ourselves think. But the atmosphere, in Köln is always fantastic. And I just saw a picture of one of the ultras giving it, the big one on the microphone, on the big loud projectors, and they're still going for it late on into the match, but it's still unfortunately not coming for them. Samuel's come in with another idea. Mark's magnificent mystery man, another tongue twister. Mark gives us clues as a mystery player involved in the match, and we have to solve it. Sounds like another interesting one, Samuel. Thank you for that. We'll see what we can do with these ideas and take them forwards. Thank you very much for being so creative. It would be good fun to do something like that, especially during one of these games where it is, unfortunately, just the one goal that we've seen in the match, one goal that separates the teams. So have we got a moment? Have we got a moment in extra time, in the rest of this game, whether it's a mistake or a moment of magic? How ironic would it be if we saw a Köln player blast one in from 25 yards, much like Joshua Kimmich did for Bayern the last time we did this same watchalong. As you said, back in January time or whenever it was. We could see that mirrored. We just need a moment from one of these Billy Goats. But at the moment, they're moving the ball around okay, in possession, at least on my timeline they are. But as soon as they get into that final third, it's just, yeah, what do we do? What's our aim here? You know, how can we connect it with Tigges? You know, are we going wide? And they're playing some okay stuff, you know, still, Mark, aren't they? But yeah, then it just breaks down. It's just hard work, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard against a team of this quality, but I'm still completely flabbergasted about the fact that Bayern haven't made subs. We're getting into the 90th minute now. I mean,
Yeah.
he's playing with fire here, Thomas Tuchel. You know, he's known in Germany as being a fiery character. You know, he's not the most popular guy. You know, a lot of people criticize him here actually in Germany for being a stubborn, you know, moaner. There's only 3 minutes added on though, which you'll probably be quite relieved to see. Although that is probably fair because not much has really happened. You know, it looks like we're not going to see any subs from Bayern Munich in the game, which is, I agree with you, Rory. I think he's definitely trying to kind of send out a point there because that's not normal to have absolutely no substitutions. But yeah, Bayern have got a corner and we're into that first minute of added on time now. Yeah, but it looks as though Bayern are going to get the result, but it's been a funny night for them, really. I think the first half they were good, although Köln have won the ball now. They have got a break on and they found, who is it? I think it's one of the Pacareda, but he can only win a throw-in by the look of it. It looks like they've got a throw-in, though, deep into the Bayern half with about a minute about it on time gone. A lot of the Bayern players look exhausted, to be honest. I'm very surprised about the lack of subs. If they equalise here, he's going to get in a lot of trouble, but let's be honest, they're probably not going to do that, and the throw-in was cleared comfortably. Yeah, it's going to be another throw-in on around about the halfway for Cologne with less than 2 minutes of added on time to go. But yeah, I think that might be one of the big talking points in this match. Why hasn't Tuchel made a sub? It's not often, especially since they changed it to 5 subs, that you don't see a team make any subs in a match. And it looks like we are going to see that here from Bayern Munich, Rory.
Yeah, pretty much. And as you alluded to, it is totally strange, especially just after an international break. I really find it odd. So yeah, is he going to bite them in the butt? Maybe not. You know, we're looking a lot more desperate now, timing wise, for Köln to get anything out of this. But also means that if they were to score, Bayern would not be able to react timings wise either. Good question in the chat from Christian.
Chance for Cologne. Geez, he had so much space there. Was it Pacareda? He had space, but it's been blocked by. It's a corner for Cologne. It's been blocked by a Upamecano, but it was Waldschmidt. I think he had so much space there. Wow. Oh, that's probably the best chance they've had in the second half. Although they've got a corner, the fans are bouncing. Come on, just send the keeper up or something. You know, just get a goal here. The corner comes in. It's high. But it's headed out and to a Bayern player. They win it back. They recycle the ball with 30 seconds left. The ball's at Schwaber's feet now. He's going to pump it long. They look onside. Cologne man wins the ball. Oh, geez. They just don't have the quality. That's the issue with Cologne, really. Just not enough quality on the ball. And now it looks like game over. Lima's got the ball at right back for Bayern. They don't look in a rush to get a second goal. We are going to see a game with no substitutions from the away side. And the game, is it over? It is over. Harry Kane pumps his fist. He realizes he's been in a battle in this game. No substitutions from Bayern. Bayern Munich win the game 1-0. The XG was 3.13 for Bayern and only 0.47 for Cologne as a home team. Yeah, strange match in many ways, you know. I mean, did you see that one, Rory, when Waldschmidt had the ball there? If he'd just been able to beat Upamecano, it might have been trouble, but it just sums up Cologne's season in many ways, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it does. Falls to a player high on confidence and ready to take a man on and then just whip in a shot bottom corner, then you're laughing. But that's just not the case with any player right now in this Köln squad. So yeah, that's it. Final score: FC Köln 0, Bayern München 1. Harry Kane, the difference maker in the end. Definitely not his best outing, but still the difference maker in the end. As Bayern go top overnight at the very least, and Köln go bottom as Union go one place above them as a result of this match. So unpleasant reading for you Billy Goat fans. So yeah, thank you again to everyone that's watched with us tonight. Just quickly, Christian, on your question, thinking around, did Union do the best thing around obviously boosting Effzeh? That's a super hard question, really, and maybe something that we can get into on Monday's show, actually, because we haven't had a great amount of time to reflect on that just yet. I know a few podcasts other than ourselves have done stuff on it already, but I think ultimately is the decision that had to be made. As sad as it was and is, it won't diminish his legend status with that club, and it'll be so fondly remembered. I just feel like a change of pace had to happen, or else it was inevitable that Union would have gone down. Whether that works now, we will see. Any closing remarks from yourself, Mark, about this game tonight, or Samuel's question in particular?
Yeah, I agree. I think the Fischer incident is so hard to answer, really, because it's like, no, of course it's not right on one side. The most successful manager in the club's history. You can, but at the same time, as Rory said, no wins in 14 games and 13 of them defeats. It's just a wretched record, as well as disciplinary problems at the back with Bonucci, with Fofana refusing to shake hands. It just looked as though it had gone stale. And I don't think it was really a sacking, to be honest. I think it was kind of a mutual decision. I think obviously they've met and they have a lot of respect for each other, and they basically just said, look, it's just not working, and we both want the best for the club, and they want to give someone else a go, and it's a sad story, really. The same with Svensson. I think we talked a lot about Svensson, and we both said that was a sad story as well. And this is really, it's horrible because, a manager who's done so well, like ridiculously well, like on ridiculous levels, to even have them in the Bundesliga was ridiculous, let alone the Champions League. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, nobody can really. This is on par with the Leicester story for me, what he did. But as you say, the signings didn't go well in the summer. Really didn't go well, and they brought in a lot of egos by the look of it, and it's just not worked out for a club that has always been based on hard work and fight, basically. So I do feel bad for them, but I mean, I'm a bit surprised they haven't brought a proper manager in and they've gone with an interim, in truth, because, the likes of Glasner has been linked. Maybe he'd be able to manage some of those egos a little bit better, a more high-profile manager who's managed the likes of Wolfsburg and Frankfurt and won Europa Leagues. Maybe he'd have a bit more respect, but it's a sad story regardless. But yeah, as for the match, I think Bayern won't be overly happy, but they've got the win at the end of the day. It's an away win on a hard place to go on a Friday, a cold Friday night. They didn't play the best. I thought first half, tactically they were spot on. Those long balls were causing a lot of problems for the home side. Second half was Cologne's, really, but they just don't have the quality up front. That's the problem. They just simply do not have the quality. And ultimately, that's why I tipped them to go down, because at the end of the day, when you've only got Davy Selke and Tigges as your strikers, then in a league where you need to score goals, you know what I mean? Because let's be honest, the Bundesliga is famous for goal scorers, for great assisters, and they just don't have that at Cologne. And unless you're going to keep a clean sheet every game, you're done for, basically, because basically if you concede 2 goals in that Cologne team, you're not going to get anything out of the game. And it's just hard for them, basically. I still think they'll go down, even based on this performance, because there's just not enough quality up top.
Well, there you have it, everyone. Thank you again to everyone that's joined us this evening. The support is so much appreciated, you wouldn't believe. So thank you to everyone that's watched again. We'll see you on Monday for the review show. Looking forward to that. I'm sure there'll be plenty more goals across Saturday and Sunday for us to get stuck into. And we're hoping to be bringing on a brand new guest for you all as well. So make sure to keep your eyes peeled on social media for all the details. Mark, do you want to just finish things off then?
Yeah, so if you enjoyed what you saw, don't forget to follow us on Twitter or X, at @OverTheBarFB and @OverTheBarExtra. Don't forget to follow Rory as well, @VillageFooty20. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed what you saw today. And yeah, we'll see you again. You don't have that long to wait. Enjoy the weekend of Bundesliga action, and we'll be back with you on Monday evening for the review of week 12. So see you then, guys. Thanks a lot.